Hi everyone, so today we're going to go ahead and make the beef marinade that's similar to the Disney restaurant, the Polynesian Resort. I'm really excited for this one because I actually wanted to eat here when I was at Walt Disney World for my birthday 3 months ago in February, but unfortunately we just couldn't squeeze it in, so we ended up eating at the Dolphin Hotel instead. So this one seems pretty easy. First we're going to go ahead and make the marinade.
So this recipe I actually got on a website called allears.net. It's, like I said, it is a Polynesian resort Ohana restaurant recipe. In this one, it called for 5 pounds of beef, but I instead just got 2.5, so I just cut the recipe in half, really. And the reason why for that is because me, my brother, and my mom actually don't eat that much, so I didn't want to have too much beef left over. And then as you can see here, I will start to measure the oil. That's 1 cup of oil, and then 1/4 cup of black pepper, and then 1/2 cup of garlic. But like I said, we cut that in half, so it's just really 1/2 cup of canola oil, 1/8 cup of black pepper, and then 1/4 cup of garlic. And then you can see that I am struggling a little bit to cut open the garlic, and then my mom passes by and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm doing the garlic." And then she was like, "I'll help you." And I was like, "I'm sure, if you want." But she didn't want to be on camera, so that's the reason why sometimes you'll only see her hands or her back. At one point, you'll see me waving my arms because I was joking around with her, and we were dancing a little bit because I was listening to a little bit of NSYNC while we were doing this. We got into a small argument because she was like, "Why are you peeling it slowly? You can go ahead and use a chopper." And I was like, "I know that I can use a chopper. You know, I'm old enough to know that. I just prefer to do it this way." And then she's like, "Yeah, but you want to get the juices right. See, when I smack it with my little chopper, you know, all the, like, it expresses and you get all the flavor." She's like, "When you chop it like the way you're doing it, you know, it takes a while and it's more tedious, etc." And I was like, "Okay, you do it your way, I'll do it my way." So if you see on the little video, you'll see it fast, but you'll see her chopping it, and then you'll see me cutting it. So we just did it in our own little way. I did get a pan, so that way we could marinate it in there, and we're gonna marinate it for about an hour in the fridge. Remember that you're supposed to marinate it for about a day, but I actually didn't. I just did it for about an hour. And you can do it for longer. It just depends on your preference, but the longer that you marinate it, the better that it will be. Okay, now you can see me go ahead and add the garlic, and then I pull out the beef. Like I said, it's about 2.5 pounds, and then I went ahead and rinsed it, because you should rinse beef, and then you do really want to dry it. You don't want any, you don't want to try to get any excess oil off of it. And then you can see that the paper towel got stuck there. I started cutting off a little bit of fat, but you know what? Unlike most places where I buy it, there's usually some fat that I need to cut off, but there wasn't that much here. So I was like, you know what, the fat that is there, I want to leave it because it'll make it really, that the fat will add flavor. So, but normally if you do see a lot of fat, you do want to cut it. Put it into fourths because I want to, make sure that it's not too big of a piece to do it. And then I go ahead and mix the mixture in the little pan that I have, and then put in the mixing the meat together. You'll see that I actually give a piece to my mom. It's because she wanted a small piece in order to do something with it. So I was like, okay. So there are 4 pieces total. So that way we make it together. In this next part, I am making the actual butter seasoning that the recipe calls for. It is about 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, 2.5 shallots, and 2 ounces of garlic, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar. And you can see that I'm cutting the shallot, and then I'm preparing the garlic together, so that way I can make this butter mixture. I don't have my mom's help this time, so it's just me. But it shouldn't be too bad. Like I said, it was just a small thing for better. What was really cool is that I wasn't sure how much 2 ounces of garlic was. And then I was like, wait, I have a scale now, thanks to you guys. So that was really cool. I pulled out the scale. And you know what? I was right. Those 2 pieces of garlic was 2 ounces. So I actually didn't need the scale. But it just proved that I was awesome. So then I went ahead and cut it. And then here you can see that I'm roasting the shallots, and then I'll go ahead and roast the garlic. And like I said, the reason for this is just because the recipe, that's what makes it the recipe from the Polynesian resort. And I also took out the unsalted butter, as you can see, and then I put that on the side so that way the heat from the oven kind of helps melt it a little bit, because we are going to make it into its own little butter. So when we want this one to be golden brown-ish and soft, so it takes a while because my oven's kind of old, so it doesn't get as the heat isn't as high as I want it to be, so it does take a while. And one thing you want to do is you don't want to over mix. A lot of people say that they stir, and the chef's like, you don't really need to do that. You kind of let it cook. So you see me adding the shallots to the bowl, and then I go ahead and start roasting the garlic, and a piece of onion got stuck in there. It kind of went astray, but that's okay. The reason why I didn't put them together is just because I didn't want the flavors to mix before I was ready. And then once that's ready, I went ahead and put the lemon juice and then the sugar. So I mix that together to make that butter. And then I get that ready for the meat. This next part has nothing to do with the actual steak. It's just I was making the potatoes for the sides, and I showed you we use basil, to make it roasted potatoes. And there you can see me that I'm making sure that it's marinated properly before I add it to the pan. I made sure that there's a lot of garlic on there because I love garlic. Here you can see that it starts to sizzle a little bit. I want a really hot pan so that I can get it seared. And then I also add more garlic. I will have the garlic sounds for you guys soon. But I was sneezing a lot because of the pepper, and also because I was talking and stuff like that, so I didn't want you guys to hear that. But here you can hear it sizzle, and then I'm starting to flip it over so that way I can get it on all sides, and then I start to add the roasted butter, so that way it can start to add into the flavor. I did talk to my brother about it later. He did definitely was able to taste the lemon and the sugar, so that's really, really good. And then I did take a spoon to go ahead and put the add.
It's still not ready because it's a little soft. I personally like my steak rare, but my mom and my brother like it medium well, so I have to cook it for longer. Otherwise it's too squishy.
There you have it. There we have a side salad and some wine. Thanks for watching.